Hey there, and welcome back to another video here on Moms of Abundance. My name's Christina if you're new here, and today I'm going to continue on my journey of starting my cash envelopes and sticker shop. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I've been documenting my journey of starting my cash envelopes and sticker Etsy shop. I am getting started first with the cash envelope side of that Etsy shop just because the materials have been a little bit more cost effective, easier to come by, and it's just an easier arm of the business to get started with before then adding on stickers. So I'm definitely very glad to have you here, and if you are looking to start your own Etsy shop, the purpose of me documenting my journey is just to show all the steps that I'm taking to successfully start my Etsy shop in the hopes that it, one, inspires others to also start Etsy shops, as well as, just to help hopefully provide some tips or strategies that you could also implement to be successful in your own Etsy shop. So today, what I'm going to do, if you didn't see my last video, I will link it up here for you to go ahead and check it out. I did do a bit of a haul of all of the cardstock I was able to get from Hobby Lobby. It was really exciting because I guess I ran at the exact right time to get cardstock because they were having a 50% off sale. So I was able to get 2 times the amount of cardstock that I would have been able to get with the amount that I had set aside for the purpose of buying cardstock for my Etsy shop. So I am seriously on cloud 9. I'm so excited that I was able to luck out and do that. So what I'm going to do in this video, and I mentioned it in that last video if you have seen that video, is simply start to price out and figure out how much these packs of cardstock are worth to me in my business. And what that means is I'm going to create a spreadsheet, of course, because I love Excel, and that is just an amazing way to track your finances and expenses for your business if you're also starting an Etsy shop or any type of online store. But I'm pretty much going to take the cost of each of the packs of cardstock that I bought, not the 50% off cost, because I don't know if I will ever be able to get it at 50% off again or how frequently, but seriously using the actual cost of the cardstock. And I'm going to create a spreadsheet, put each of the costs for each of these types of cardstock that I purchased into the spreadsheet so that I can then figure out what is the cost per each sheet in this packet. So this one, as an example, is $21.99, and then of course we want to add on tax onto there, and this one has 180 sheets. So I would want to figure out how many cash envelopes I can create from one sheet of this cardstock, and then multiply that by the number of sheets that I have, then be able to divide that into the total cost of this cardstock to figure out essentially what the value is of this book for me in my business. So that's kind of the high level. I'll explain it in more detail like when I get into creating the spreadsheet, but that is what I'm going to do in this video. I think it's incredibly important if you are starting any type of business, but especially a business where you have materials that you have to use in order to create products for your customers. It's really important to get a clear understanding and a clear picture of how much each order that you fulfill costs you, because that's really the only way that you can effectively price your products so that you are creating revenue and profit in your business. So I just want to show you how it is I'm going to do that. And if you are starting an Etsy shop or some other type of online store where you also will be using materials to create products, hopefully this following along with me and kind of seeing how I am doing it will help you to also be able to do a similar pricing analysis in your business. Before we go ahead and cut to showing my screen and showing you how I'm setting up this spreadsheet, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. I do post videos every single week documenting my journey with my Etsy shop, as well as videos on personal development and growth, just so that we can all transform our lives and really create those lives that we absolutely love. I'm incredibly passionate about that. So if you are excited about just creating a life and a business of your dreams, make sure that you also put a like on this video. It really helps me out to see if people do like content like this so that I will continue to create it. And I just want to know if this type of information helps. So if it does, make sure that you put a like on it. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see exactly how I'm going to set up this spreadsheet to understand how it is I should price my cash envelopes.
Okay, so the first thing that I did is just opened up a new Excel spreadsheet, and I put a couple of sheets here. I have dashboard and I have card stock. So dashboard, I have that there because I am going to go back and just put kind of a dashboard in front of all of my materials for my pricing model or pricing analysis, just because that's going to make it a whole lot easier for me to see the exact cost of each package that I send out. So once I, finalize figuring out what my different sets are going to be, how many envelopes are going to be in a set, and, everything that I will do with the scraps that come from each of these square card stock sheets, once I figure out like everything that's going to happen and what needs to go in to actually sending out an order to a customer, then I will be able to really figure out what my profit will be per each order. So I would definitely recommend also creating something like this, a spreadsheet, or if you work better on paper, I do too. Honestly, like I really do like to just write notes and sometimes figure these types of things out on paper too. And that helps. I did, already write like a couple of basic notes and just kind of frame out how I do want my Excel sheet to look. So if you're better on paper, just, write out some notes and figure that out on paper. But I definitely recommend just making sure that you are thinking about like the full cost of sending out an order. You need to think about the cost of an order to you and your business so that you can appropriately charge your customers so that you can create revenue and achieve profit in your business. So I hope that by just showing you this from the cardstock perspective, it'll help to get those juices flowing so that you can, really start to figure out those costs for you with pricing your Etsy shop as well. So what I'm going to do is just really quick put in a few different headings here. So of course I want to put an item number, and that is something that I'm going to set up as a formula. If you saw my supplies planning video, then you kind of saw how it auto assigned a number to this column A, just so that I have like an internal reference number and I know what each different type of cardstock or what each material is for me in my business. And I mean, you don't have to do that, but I definitely recommend doing that because it'll make it a lot easier for you when it comes to inventorying your supplies, your material, as well as when it comes to reordering materials and just managing your expenses overall in your business. You would, definitely appreciate having that item number. So I do recommend, doing something like that, even if you just type it in manually. So then the next thing that I'm going to type in here, really basic, is just type, and that's just me putting in the type of cardstock. So this is going to be I'm going to put in parentheses name, which is going to be the name that's on the front of the cardstock, the name that what is this place called? The Paper Studio calls them. And then over here in column C, I am just going to put number of pages because that's definitely very important. So then here I'm going to put, let me see, number of pages, my goodness. And then I'm going to put cost. Actually, I'm going to put number of envelopes, so that I can see how many envelopes I would be able to get per each pack. And then I'm going to put cost of pack. Then I'm going to put cost per sheet. and then I'm going to put cost per envelope, which is essentially what we want to get down to. So there are, other variables that could be added here. Of course, there's tax and everything like that. I actually will go ahead and add that column here. And I'm just going to call it cost per pack, and then in parentheses put with tax. And this, instead of saying of pack, I'm just going to put per pack so that I'm, being consistent. So yeah, that is that. I'm just going to freeze this so that like if I'm scrolling around, I can easily see the name of this column. And now I'm just going to add in this information. So I am going to leave column A blank on this video, but I am going to go back in and just like add the formula that will put that information in there. Sprinkles. Sorry about that. My doggy's trying to eat paper. Easy girl. So I am going to just leave column A blank, and then I'm going to go back and add this information later, the formula later, so that it just auto assigns for me. But since this isn't like an Excel tutorial video, I'm not gonna, bore you with like the details or like showing you the formulas. I just want to get to like actually pricing the information. So really, I'm just going to go ahead and go down the list and type each of these in. I'll talk through the first one, but then I'll probably just, speed up through the rest so that this isn't a super long video. But the first one that I have is called all 5 seasons. And, they're calling it that, of course, because we have 4 seasons, but they're calling it all 5 seasons because it really encompasses everything like from Christmas, like to going back to school, to Independence Day, like just celebrating summertime, and all of that. Like St. Patrick's Day is on here, Halloween, Thanksgiving, like it covers like all of it. So that is, I guess, why they call it all 5 seasons. So I'm going to put all 5 seasons here. Number of pages in this one are sheets. That's a smarter way to label it. It's sheets because pages are front and back. Sheets are like the individual pieces of paper. Oh, look, and right here I put sheet. So number of sheets in here is 180. So then that means that number of envelopes, I am going to just put a quick formula. I know that I can get 2 envelopes per sheet, and that's just based on the dimensions of envelopes that I'm going to be making. So we will, when I do a video on actually making the cash envelopes and showing that, then I'll definitely talk a little bit more about the dimensions so that you can understand exactly how big the envelopes need to be and everything like that. But essentially that is to do an envelope that is 6 inches by 3 inches, or 6 inches by 3 inches. So 6 inches wide and 3 inches tall, which should be just large enough to fit the money in, your cash in. So that's what I'm going with, and so we'll see if that does work out. But that's the size that I'm going to test at first. So that's what my preliminary numbers are going to reflect. So each of these packs are a $21.99. That's not what I paid for this particular pack because they were having an amazing 50% off sale when I got this one. So I technically only paid half this price, about $11 for this pack plus tax, which was amazing. I really lucked out. But of course, I can't rely on just getting my packs of cardstock when they're having a sale. So I need to make sure that I'm pricing based on the actual cost, because more than likely I'm going to have to buy, additional packs or refill packs from with the original price. So that is, of course, the number that I'm going to use in my store. And let me widen this out so that you can see that, and then maybe I can even zoom in because I want you to be able to really read this. Okay. So hopefully that's more better. So then I just aesthetic things. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and put in this cost per tax. So essentially a tax in Pasco County where I got this is 7%. So I'm just going to take that number and multiply it by 1.07. That's how you tack on the tax. And I do want to, of course, I'm just going to copy this formula down really quickly. And then I do also want to make sure that this is only 2 decimal places. So it's going to round it up to the nearest hundredths place since it's money. So then that shows me that per each pack, my real cost would be $23.53 for this pack of 180 sheets of the all seasons, which is not so bad. So then this cost per sheet, another formula, but just a basic one where I'm taking this cost per pack with tax and dividing it by the number of sheets that I have. So that's going to give me the cost per each sheet of paper. Then I'm just going to do the same thing. I just want this to be 2 decimal places. Sprinkles. Because getting distracted. My dog keeps on trying to eat paper. So I'm just going to do, so that brings me down to 13 cents per sheet, which is pretty good. And then now I want cost per envelope, which is exactly the same thing pretty much, except we want to use the number of envelopes versus the number of sheets. So I'm going to take that same 23.53 and just divide that by 360, which is the number of envelopes in this line. And then go ahead and move that down to just 2 decimal places. So that tells me it's about 7 cents per envelope. So I'm just going to copy that down. Of course, it's going to give me this error right now, but it'll update. But this is good. I wanted to make sure that I put formulas in here because if this numbers of envelopes does change and, I'm not able to get the 2 out of each sheet for whatever reason, then, all I need to do is update this number of envelopes. Like maybe it's 240 instead, and it'll automatically update my, my column H to tell me what my cost is per envelope, if that makes sense. So this is definitely what I would recommend doing for, yours as well, to just really kind of lay out and see what each sheet is gonna kind of cost you. So now I'm just gonna go through and add the rest. Okay, so here is what we have now that I have, input all of the different types that I got in here. I do have 8 packs of cardstock, but you'll see that I only entered 7 different types, but that is because I actually have 2 packs of this Break of Dawn, so it would be identical. And again, this is to track at the individual level, so not tracking inventory. So I don't need to put another line item for Break of Dawn, because I really just want to see what is the cost of making envelopes with that pack of cardstock. So I just put that in here once. So these are all 7 of the different types of cardstock that I have. You can see that the majority of them are 60 sheets of cardstock in them. The Break of Dawn and the All 5 Seasons have 180. So that means that my cost is typically going to be 20 cents per each envelope. And the reason for that is that the majority of these are $21.99 plus tax. Now I do have the Stargazer one in here. That is $19.99 at 60, so that's a little bit lower than the norm. And then the Break of Dawn is $24.99 for the 180 sheets, rather than still being $21.99 like the All 5 Seasons is. So that is a little bit more, but on average, it looks like the average would be probably like 16 cents or so per envelope. And that is actually like what I would put down here. Like when I'm putting a total line, I would want to see not really I wouldn't want to see the sum of this, because that wouldn't tell me anything. Like I wouldn't want to add each of these costs together, but I would want to be able to see, like, on average, like how much am I spending, or how much does each envelope cost me to make. So if I go ahead and just like do a basic average function of this, yes, it shows me 16 cents is the average here per envelope. Now, that is really important to know, because this is just for the actual cost of the cardstock. So this is just the cardstock that's going into the envelope. This does not take into consideration the lamination. This does not take into consideration the packaging or the sticker, like if you're using a thank you sticker or any other materials that you have to put into actually creating and shipping this product. This is just kind of getting that baseline of, okay, without anything else, this is how much each of these envelopes is going to cost me to make before I add in everything else that goes into it. So it's really important to do this, because if you don't price your envelopes, or whatever it is that you're selling in your Etsy shop or your online store, if you're setting up a Shopify account, don't know like how much it's going to cost you, like you won't be able to effectively price your products and make sure that you are generating revenue from it, and making sure that you are getting profit from it. So definitely do an exercise like this. My next step is going to be, creating some envelopes, and then, adding in kind of everything else that goes into, or that would go into shipping out a set of envelopes. So I would want to figure out exactly how many envelopes am I going to put into a set. And then, figure out like what's the cost of shipping and different things like that to really determine how much it's going to cost me per order, or per order pretty much. And that way I can effectively price my my products, and then I can understand that this is the cost of this pack of paper to me in my business. So on average, let me just put I'm just going to copy these down here so that I have all the averages. So on average, a pack of paper or a pack of cardstock for me in my business is $23.68. Sprinkles. Don't do that, girl. So it's $23.68 on average for a pack of this cardstock in my business. So then I want to know, like, what is the value of that pack of cardstock in my business? So based on whatever number I price the envelopes at, after I've taken into consideration the cost of everything else, then I want to know like what's pretty much my return on investment for that that pack of cardstock. Like, what is my percentage of profit, or profit margin, as they say it in the business world. So that's really what I'm going to work on figuring out next when it comes to kind of the books and the background, like pricing information. In order to do that, I could speculate that now, but I don't know exactly how many envelopes that I'm going to put into a pack yet, or into a set yet. Could be as low as 3, could be as much as like 7, or maybe even 10. I'm really not sure yet. And I'm also not sure if I'm going to make some different sized envelopes. So I could make envelopes that are, all 3x6, but I'm also thinking about making some envelopes that are a little bit bigger to be able to store the, the other cash envelopes in, if that makes sense. So I am toying around with some ideas for that. I do think, though, if I do make the bigger envelopes, I'll probably use like just a basic cardstock to create that with, but I'm just not sure yet. So another thing that you want to consider is the fact that not every single envelope is going to come out perfectly, because, like, we're human and we make mistakes. So another thing in my pricing analysis, like once I finalize that I'm going to factor in, is an 80% efficiency rate, meaning that for every 10 envelopes that I make, my expectation is that 8 of those envelopes will come out exactly right, and 2 of those could potentially be messed up in some way, shape, or form, and that would mean that I cannot sell them. And of course, that would mean that the value of each of these individual packs of cardstock would go down. But it's really important to factor that in, because we're not perfect, and these are handmade products, and I just expect to mess up on some, or even if I don't mess up on it, like I expect that the paper studio factory would have had some mess ups, and like just some designs that we maybe like the cardstock just didn't get printed correctly. Why? Because that's what happens. It's kind of like Six Sigma, if you're familiar with that. So I just want to factor that in. Again, I'm like super numbers oriented, and I'm going at this Etsy shop like from the standpoint of really starting a business that will help to support myself, my son, my family, So I'm starting it from that standpoint, from the get-go. That's really all I wanted to share in this video. I just wanted to show like how it was that I was getting the preliminary setup for each of these pieces of cardstock, and I really hope that this was effective to help show you how you can, create a spreadsheet like this, or, a handwritten, sheet of paper or what have you. Do it all like in a notebook and with a calculator, but how this works in order for you to be able to start pricing out the cost of your cardstock, or whatever your base material is in your Etsy shop or online store. It's really, really important to start thinking about that from the very beginning before you even open the doors of your shop. So I do hope that you found this video to be helpful. If you did, make sure to put a like on it. But let me know if you have any questions about this. Let me know if, like anything comes up as a result of watching this video. If I have enough questions like about the same thing, then of course I will absolutely put out additional videos just to help answer those questions, because I really just want to help other new or aspiring Etsy shop owners or online store owners to really be able to start businesses off on the right foot and see success in that business. And part of doing that is definitely, using spreadsheets like this or systems like this to figure out your costs, like in expenses in your business.
So that was it. I really hope that you found this video to be helpful, and that seeing how I am setting up this spreadsheet was beneficial to you in helping you with your journey on your Etsy shop or your online store.
And just one more thing that I forgot to mention, if you're ever interested in some one-on-one help with creating a spreadsheet like this for your Etsy shop startup or for your online business startup, then definitely leave me a comment down below or send me an email. My email address is down there in the description. And just let me know, because that is something that I do offer. I do work one-on-one with folks on Excel and like just different things in Excel, and like just different like business strategies or pricing strategies. So if that's something that you're interested in, don't hesitate to just leave me a comment or reach out, and then we can definitely connect and figure out a solution. All right, just wanted to say that. Now let's cut back over to me talking to you in the camera.
If you did find this video to be helpful, again, don't forget to put a like on it, and I'd honestly love to hear from you. What type of Etsy shop or online store are you starting? Leave a comment down below, because I'd love to just create a community of moms where we're just here supporting and lifting each other up. So please make sure that you leave me a comment below. Let me know what you're working on and what brought you here and all of that jazz. Again, if you haven't already, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to this channel for weekly videos on Etsy, as well as just personal growth and development, so that we can transform our lives and create lives that we absolutely love. I cannot wait to see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.